Hello, fellow model aviation hobbyists. I've got a great news for you, but before I get to that, let me set the stage. Where do you work on your models? Usually on a flat surface in the form of a table, a workbench, and in some cases, a kitchen island. Though these surfaces can get you to put a kit or a scratch build together and cover it with great care for the fear of hanger rash, but when it comes to installing the hardware, there are no help in holding your model in the right position. So you get to hire some form of these stands. But the only thing these stands can do for you is to hold your model off the surface. They are very limited in holding your model in the right position for you to work on comfortably and securely. So how do you overcome all these limitations? By retiring both these stands and the surface. But then you say there is nothing else, to which I say there wasn't until now. Introducing the Dynostand. It is more like a building station than a stand. It is designed by modeler, hand-built by modeler right here in the United States. It is made of welded hollow structural steel, aluminum, and of course the very substance that made aviation possible, let alone our beloved hobby, wood in the form of Baltic birch plywood and oak. It is zinc and powder coated for durability. It tips the scale at 23 pounds and it occupies just 4 square feet of real estate. It will hold fuselages up to 11.5 inches wide and up to 50 pounds. It will hold your model in almost any position you want, firmly and securely. Okay, fellas, enough of how it's made. You want to know what it can do for you. But before I begin, let me tell you some fundamental rules about using the Dynostand. Dynostand, contrary to the name, is not for testing engines, electric motors, or any kind of a propulsion system on it. It is solely designed to build radio-controlled model airplanes, and you should strap them on it so they cannot move in either direction. Now the fuselage is supported by 4 points: side, bottom, side, and the top on both sides. Side supports are adjustable for the height and the width of the fuselage. Dynostand also equipped with the floating floors in case you need more access on the bottom of the fuselage. The strap on the widest adjustment will go over the fuselage, through the D-ring on the other side, loops back, and locks onto itself. For the narrower fuselages, it will go over the fuselage, loops back, goes through the third D-ring, and locks onto itself. The work height is adjustable from 42 inches down to 28 inches. Now the supports are adjustable from 17.5 inches to 30 inches. Now for the demonstration purposes, let's use this 30cc size airframe. You center the fuselage on the stand, and we recommend to install the landing gear if it's possible, so it gets situated behind the sliding block to prevent the fuselage from moving this way. You adjust your side supports about 1/2 inch or so below the top of the fuselage So you get some downward pressure by the strap. You also want to make sure that your side supports are pressing slightly on the fuselage for the better grip. Now the back support almost always falls into the tapering part of the fuselage, so it cannot move this way due to the wedge effect. Now if you need to access this part of the fuselage, you simply strap it out here. You adjust your side support accordingly. And you strap it in. Now for the fuselages without the landing gear, you need to strap it so the fuselage cannot move this way. In this case, if we relocate the back strap to this point, it will do the job. Now you notice I adjusted the side support a bit behind this point, so you get backward pressure by the strap. Now she's going nowhere, even if you turn it 90 degrees. We recommend that you adjust your locks so when you position the stand and let go, it will hold. But if you really want it to stay put, you just crank up the locks a bit more, and now you can lean on it and it won't move, either on this axis or on this axis. Just make sure you don't break anything. Now you decide where to start. If you glue in the tail feathers and secure them enough to hold alignment in any position, you can start working on the fuselage right away. You can start on the engine, drilling, mounting. You can work on the midsection, servos, fuel tanks, batteries. We can work on the tail, installing maybe a servo. You can work on this side of the fuselage, install the switches, maybe a tail servo, ignition battery. You can work on the other side of the fuselage, installing fuel ducts, ignition module, maybe another tail servo. Or you work on the bottom of the fuselage, installing your landing gear, exhaust system, or tail wheel, all while the glue is setting without the fear of hanger rash. Now if you need more room on the bottom of the fuselage than this, you simply loosen up the strap, unlock the floating floors, raise it to the height you want, whether on one side or both sides. You lock it back in, you strap it back in, and she's just as secure. Another feature of Dynostand is its mobility. You can simply tilt the stand on its casters and roll it to wherever you want to go. You can also work on your wing or horizontal stabilizer, whether you can work on it vertically or horizontally. Provided you strap them properly, you can work on the bottom of the wing or the top of the wing. You can work on the wingtip or the wing root comfortably and securely. You can work on it standing up or sitting down on your comfy chair with your model hovering on your lap, where you can still access the nose section, the midsection, the side of the fuselage, the other side of the fuselage, the tail section, or the bottom of the fuselage, where you can work on landing gears, exhaust system, or the tail wheel. Check it out at dynostand.com. You can also work on your helicopter with the optional helipad attachment. We didn't forget about you heli guys. Here's how. First, we need to disassemble the side supports, floating floors, and the anti-rotation bracket. Retract the extension to its minimum. Put the helipad bases across the sliding blocks with the eccentric hole toward the outside. Secure in place with a 3/8/16 carriage bolt and a 4-prong knobs. Slide out the extension and secure them with the same hardware. And lock it in place. Measure the distance from the outside of one skid to the outside of the other skid and add 1/4 inch to that measurement. Transfer that measurement to the helipad bases between the mounting holes. Adjust by sliding the base on the sliding blocks to match. We're going to use this 60cc size nitro helicopter. Position it so the skid is about 1/8 inch away from the mounting hole and centered between the legs. Position the retaining block across the skids and secure it in place with a studded knob and a fender washer. Finger tight evenly and check for movement. when you're satisfied, you're ready to work. If the retaining block does not fit your bird, you can trim it down to fit, but you cannot trim it down to less than 2 inches wide. Since the helis are top heavy on Dynostand, you need to be careful with your locks. Now you can put your heli in almost any position you want. Firmly and securely.